So here we have our maze robot. At the bottom, you can see it is controlled by two DC motors. And those DC motors are then connected to DC motor controllers, which are then attached to our Arduino Mega here. Those DC motors then drive on each side a 60-tooth gear. Those 60-tooth gears and the middle shafts are then meshed together to two 36-tooth gears on either side. And those each have their own shafts, so basically it makes it have less torque but more speed. Then on each of those shafts, there's a wheel driving the entire robot. I've also created a shelf so that I have some place to put the battery pack and sort of keep the wires from hanging down by the wheels and the gears. So here's our code for the maze robot. We have our libraries here and all the parameters for the LCD screen. We also have our activation variable here, declaring initializing that'll come into play later. In our void setup section, we have our motor inputs, so the pins and the ranges are specified for each motor. Then after that, we have the functions for the different movements for the robot. So travel forward, the motors will spin forward and it will print forward on the LCD. Backwards, motors will spin the opposite direction backwards, and the motor will print, or the LCD will print backwards. Turning right, motor 1 will move forwards while motor 2 will be stopped, and it will print turn right. Turn left, it's the opposite of turn right, motor 1 will be stopped, motor 2 will go forward, and it will print turn left, and finally halt. Both motors will be stopped and it will print stop. So if that activation variable is set to low, then the robot will go through the movements, and then at the end, it will turn that activation variable to high. That's triggering the else if statement. If the activation variable was high, then the robot will stop, causing the movement to stop.